Yeah. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. Let's go. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie. Yeah, we gon' debate it all. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie. Yeah, we gon' debate it all. They say you gotta crawl before you stand tall. And if you want it all, then you can't be scared to fall. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie. Yeah, we gon' debate it all. Yeah. On every level, we ask who's better, who's more clever, which one would you rather, which one did it better. Wake up and ball, get your coffee from the kettle, cream and sugar, make it better. We gon' fly, spread our wings, we gon' reach a new level, and until we drop a feather, we gon' ball in any weather. We were taught to never settle, like Magneto, we want medals or the championship ring. Yeah, we do it for the team. Yeah, wake up and ball, wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. Wake up and ball, wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. They say you gotta crawl before you stand tall. And if you want it all, then you can't be scared to fall. Wake up and ball, wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. Yeah. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in to Wake Up and Ball. Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. We gon' fly, spread our wings, we gon' reach a new level, and until we drop a feather, we gon' ball in any weather. We were taught to never settle, like Magneto, we want medals or the championship ring. Yeah, we do it for the team. Yeah. We gon' fly and spread our wings. We want a
Good morning.
championship ring. We gon' do it for the team.
What's
And
up?
round
What's
table
up?
sport.
Wake
We
up
were
and
taught
ball,
to never
baby.
settle. Just like Magneto, we want medals. We gon' reach a new level. Yeah.
Hurricane grid mode, I see you.
Need some go get up.
Ever see me? What's
The
up, man?
competition quitters. Yeah.
Let's get it.
Wake up and ball. Roundtable Sports. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, man. Oh, man, what a day. I hope y'all are enjoying your Friday. Salute to Hurricane Grid Mode, said big shout out to Sudden Impact. What you know about that, man? That's what's up, brother. That is what's up, man. We got OBJ. What prison Mike talking about? Dolphin state of mind. Salute to you, brother, man. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning, everybody, man. Good morning, everybody. Listen, man, welcome to Wake Up and Ball Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Listen, we got a few things we want to talk about this morning. There's some weird stuff going on out here in the sports world, man. I don't know what's going on. Man. But first off, breaking news, OBJ cut by the Miami Dolphins. They say that this is a mutual parting. Oh man, I don't know, man. Something ain't right. Something got my spidey senses acting up, man. But you know what? We gonna talk about that and so much more this morning. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to know that this stream is being powered by BetUS. Take advantage of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. If you're looking for a new sports book, BetUS is where you want to be. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. And obviously right now they have all the odds up for this week in the NFL and NBA. Some big-time games. I want to go to my favorite game with my favorite team. The Miami Dolphins will be squaring off against the Houston Texans. Man, they got this, man, even money for Houston on the point spread -3, and Houston's at home. I think they kind of see this game a lot more even than you think. Usually the home team, they say an unspoken rule, they get 3 points. So for Miami to be +3, I think they're kind of seeing this as somewhat of an even matchup. And that's why you got even money on Houston as well. So very interesting. That +129 for Miami to win looks very favorable. I like that. I actually like that. All right. But hey, will they be able to win? Because one of their secret weapons is no longer on the team. OBJ gone, man. OBJ gone. The secret weapon gone. What happened? Something going on out here, y'all. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate too much, but it's something's going on, man. You're getting accusations out here, and then NBA stars taking some time off for personal reasons. We don't know when he's gonna be back. What are the personal reasons? We don't know. That's why it's personal. And OBJ doesn't practice for 2 days for personal reasons. Next thing you know, him and the Dolphins agree to part ways. And the story behind it is he wanted more opportunity. Man, I hope we don't get no bombshell news coming out. I hope we ain't gonna have no bombshell news, man. What are these guys involved in? I don't know, man, but I ain't gonna be the one. I'm gonna be a little messy, but I ain't gonna be the one to speculate too deep into it. But man, that's it. I think I just don't like correlations like that. Correlations like that. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but this is very interesting. We're going to keep our eye on the situation. Odell Beckham will clear waivers on Monday if he's not picked up, and he'll be a free agent, and we'll see how all of that works out. Okay. But we're going to find out, man. But listen, we got some things to go through today. Y'all hit that like button. On Fridays, I do the show solo. And I like to do a lot of Q&A. So in the sports world, as I go through some topics, you can put any question in the sports world you want. And if I can answer it, I want to answer it for you all. So you can go ahead, start putting any questions you like in the chat, and we'll go over them in the sports world or in the personal world in my life. So that's kind of how we like to do Wake Up and Ball on Fridays solo with me. Talk about a few sports topics. We talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Any questions that you may have, I want to be able to answer them for you all, okay? Listen, last night, there was a game in the NFL, obviously. The San Francisco 49ers versus the LA Rams, all right? Now, the LA Rams won the game. The 49ers, at least in my opinion, their season is officially over now, okay? They lost that game, and I don't think there's any point of return at this point. That's going to do it for them. And it's sad because I feel like the 49ers were on their way of doing something special and winning some games for the rest of the season. But what a terribly executed game in every facet, okay? First off, the defense played extremely well for the 49ers, but the problem is they didn't capitalize off of many opportunities that they had. One of those main opportunities were potential 3 interceptions on Stafford, and they just completely dropped all 3. Like the man literally gifted them with the ribbon, 3 interceptions, and they kind of dropped all 3, y'all. Also, Purdy blew it at the end of the game, throwing that interception on a nice drive, being over aggressive unnecessarily. That's youth and that's impatience. And that also leads you to wonder, as the Rams continue to fight for the first spot in that division, it leads you to wonder, should they pay Purdy? Y'all put it in the chat right now what you think. But do you think that the San Francisco 49ers should pay Brock Purdy? Let me know your answer in the chat right now if you can, all right? Because it's starting to become one of those It's starting to become one of those big conversations because it's a pivotal decision that they'll have to make. And here's why. Now, he's under contract. Don't get me wrong. They can say, hey, we're not paying you anything. And then it gets nasty. He might want to sit out, whatever it may be. I don't know. But there is a team out there that would pay Purdy over 40, maybe even $50 million. There is at least one team out there. And that's why San Francisco is going to be forced to make a decision on what they want to do. So here's what I would do if I'm the San Francisco 49ers. I would aggressively work hard to do one of several things. One thing I would do is I will potentially try and trade Brock Purdy for some significant draft capital for this year. I would also contact the Minnesota Vikings and see if they are interested in trading JJ McCarthy and working that angle. Because I believe that the Minnesota Vikings will pay Sam Darnold, and they should, as long as he finishes the season out strong. Now, those are just one of so many options that they can take. They could also use capital from trading Purdy plus their own capital to try to move up in the draft. Maybe a Shadur Sanders or a Cam Ward could be in their future. But one of the biggest secrets for the San Francisco 49ers that a lot of people don't realize is they've always had the luxury of paying a quarterback minimal dollars. And they've been allotted the allotment, I would say, of a lot of talent on the roster. I mean, I want y'all to really go through a lot of these good teams in the NFL, right? With the exception of maybe the Lions, and they just draft very well, and maybe the Chiefs, and they just draft very well. But really, in the Buffalo too, draft very well. I want y'all to really look at like the playoff picture this year. And I want to kind of try at least to show you somewhat of a correlation here, right? Kansas City Chiefs, high paid quarterback, but they draft well, and their quarterback is elite. Buffalo Bills, high paid quarterback, but he's elite, and they've been drafting well. Pittsburgh Steelers, good quarterback, just like Purdy to me, but they're paying pennies for him, and they've allotted a really good roster around him. Really good roster around him because they're not paying him much. I want to show you the correlation. Either you got an elite guy and you draft well, that puts you at the top. But if you have an elite guy and you don't draft well, you're killing your team. So that's why Pittsburgh maintains this level of success, because nobody's talking about how much money Russell Wilson's making and how much they're paying at the quarterback position. Pennies, they got a loaded roster, a whole bunch of 7 and 8s. Houston Texans, rookie deal quarterback, loaded roster. Baltimore Ravens, quarterback getting played, but he's elite, and they draft well. Los Angeles Chargers, Herbert's now getting paid, but look at what they've done with their draft picks. They stripped the team of the wide receivers and drafted them and revamped that defense with young talent as well. That's why they're able to have competitiveness with a high-paid quarterback, and he got elite traits, but we're not going to put him in the elite category yet. Denver Broncos, they're not really paying a quarterback much money. Yeah, they got to eat Russell Wilson's dead cap, but that's spread out. But they've also drafted well, hitting on Bo Nix. That's why they're in the game. The Colts, well, everything under that is trouble, and let me show you, right? Colts, they're not really hitting on the quarterback like they want to. They still don't know. That's why they're in the middle of the road of who are you? Dolphins, quarterback situation. A lot of people love them. A lot of people don't. You're spending all this money on the roster, but you don't have an elite quarterback. You don't draft well, middle of the road. Your money is putting you in the middle of the road. Cincinnati Bengals, quarterback getting paid, elite, but they're not drafting well, especially on the defensive side of the football. Not drafting well. It's hurting them. Cleveland Browns, paid a quarterback all that guaranteed money. This is the situation you're in. And you're not drafting as well. Jacksonville, paid your quarterback all that money. Not working out. Jets, paid your quarterback all that money. He took a pay cut, but you don't even have a good coach. Tennessee Titans, figuring out the quarterback position. New England Patriots, fresh and new in this thing. Vegas, don't even have a quarterback. You see how the correlations start to be in the same realm of each other? At the top, you're either an elite quarterback or you're a rookie deal quarterback with a whole bunch of weapons. In the middle, something's missing. You're not drafting well, or you don't have a great quarterback, or you're paying your quarterback too much. And at the bottom, you don't even know what your quarterback situation is, or you're fresh in a rebuild. That's the correlation. Let's do the same thing in the NFC. The Detroit Lions, they're paying their quarterback. He's playing elite, but they draft well. They built an amazing roster. Philadelphia Eagles, technically Hurts ain't getting as much money as it seems when you really look at the way the contract is structured, so they can afford a little more around him, but they still have drafted well. They brought in a lot of nice players. Seattle Seahawks, Geno not getting the big bucks. He's getting significant money, but not the big bucks. Gives you a little bit more flexibility, but that puts you in the middle of the road. They're winning their division, but they're really in the middle of the road. They're just high in the playoff seeding because of their division. Tampa Bay, just like Geno, Baker's contract, not like these 50 million guys, gives the team a little bit more flexibility, but drafting well. Minnesota Viking, they ain't spending no money at the quarterback position. Loaded roster. Put them way up there. Top 3 team in the NFC. Green Bay, Jordan Love, just paid them, so it ain't hurting them as much, but they draft well. They draft well. Commanders, rookie contract quarterback. You can put a lot more around them. Solid team. Rams, that's why they're somewhat in the middle of the road too, because they're paying their quarterback big bucks. They do draft well, but that money with the quarterback, they're not drafting well enough to put them in the upper echelon. They're one of the middle of the road teams. Atlanta, you pay the quarterback all that money. You try to go buy talent. Are you really drafting well? Middle of the road with the quarterback making all that money. Arizona Cardinals, quarterback making all that money. You barely draft well. You may hit on a few, but you're in the middle of the road. San Francisco, not paying the quarterback that much money, usually loaded, but injuries taking their toll because a lot of these guys are older, and San Francisco has not drafted well for 3 years now. Saints, paying a quarterback all that money, getting hurt on occasions. Same situation. Dallas Cowboys, really paying a quarterback a lot of money. Not drafting well. Chicago Bears, trying to figure out the quarterback position. Is Caleb the guy? Bad coaching. Carolina, is Bryce Young the guy? Giants, Daniel Jones ain't the guy. You see how the correlation gets more defined as you go down the list? There's too much evidence in the NFL of how this works with paying these quarterbacks. This is why Russell Wilson went on to win a Super Bowl and have so much success on his rookie contract. And as soon as he got paid, Seattle never saw the light of day again. First round exits in the playoffs, never even sniffed the promised land again. Never even sniffed it again. Then you move on from Russ, and Geno's doing the same exact thing that Russ was doing when he got paid. Denver takes on Russ, that big contract, same thing, the team downhill. You just add a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix and add a little bit more talent, and that team's totally different. That don't mean Bo Nix better than Russell Wilson. I think it has a lot to do with how much Bo Nix is getting paid versus what Russell Wilson is getting paid, which affords a lot more around Bo Nix than Russell Wilson had. And then he goes to Pittsburgh and making pennies again, and that team is taking off. Pay attention to the correlations. Glenn said, how many QBs have won on their rookie QB? I think you mean rookie deal. Won what, Glenn? Are we talking Super Bowl or just playoffs in general, winning? You gotta let me know which one you're referring to. Then I'll be able to answer it. Y'all hit that like button on your way in the building, by the way. Punch that like button. Thank y'all for waking up and balling with TD this morning, all right? Oh, man. I've been saying 49ers need to fire Kyle 2 years ago. That's a whole nother conversation. This is where people get mad at me and be like, oh, you're crazy. Fire Kyle. Oh, we want him. All these teams. Oh, we have all these people. We'll take him. Oh, Kyle's a great coach. I just keep trying to figure out what makes him great. I'm not saying he's not. This is the point I'm making. I'm not saying he's not, but how do you judge or grade a great coach? Can someone answer that for me? What makes Kyle a great coach? What makes him a great coach? Just curious. I don't understand when people say stuff like that. Is there anything behind it that makes them feel that way? Why am I saying this about Kyle? Because has Kyle ever proven that he can win games when his roster isn't as loaded? Has he ever done that? Has he ever shown without one of the top 5 or top 10 rosters in the NFL that he can go out there and lead a winning team? Because they've always had a great O-line, always had weapons, always had a top defense with talent. And it's just so happened the last 2 years, right? Like last year, they had a 3-game stretch where 2 or 3 of their stars went out. And they look like bums. This year, they've had lulls where stars have gone out and they haven't looked good at all. And now stars are out for the season and they just can't get it together. Some people say he don't have a good quarterback, but here's where I argue that, though. He's always had a above average quarterback. And an above average quarterback with loaded weapons around him in a great defense, top 5 defense, they're going to win more games than they lose. Don't let that fool you just because he ain't got a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. When that defense is holding every team they play almost under 20, you don't need a Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. You can still win a significant amount of games with the guy like Brock Purdy, with the guy like, what's his name that was in San Francisco before? Jimmy Garoppolo. With the guy like Ryan Tannehill when he was in Tennessee, winning 11, 12 games or whatever. You can win games with a great defense. So I'm not all sold on the Shanahan stuff. I like quarterback. I like coaches that have proven without all the talent in the world that they can coach up a winning team. They can coach up a team above 500. Like what Flores did his 2 years in Miami. Like what Harbaugh's doing right now. Stuff like that. Where the roster isn't loaded with great talent and top 10 talent all over the place. Glenn said last 25 years, only think 4 Brady, Mahomes, Big Ben, and Wilson, and 3 of them were before QB contracts got outrageous. Yeah, but Glenn, here's the thing. It's not just winning the Super Bowl, it's having a chance to. Now go back in the last 25 years. No. See, we're talking about different eras. We're talking about this is a new football era right now where you can't compare 25 years. You need to compare when the salary cap start getting outrageous for the quarterback position. And I think that might have happened somewhere around 2015-ish. You really need to compare the last 10 years, Glenn. And what you need to compare in the last 20 years is how many quarterbacks on a rookie deal or elite quarterbacks made the playoffs. What you'll find in that time frame is, or at least won a playoff game, Glenn. What you'll find is that there are like minimal quarterbacks who got paid the big bucks that make the playoffs or win a playoff game, unless they're elite, unless they're a top 5 quarterback, or they offset it with the historic defense or something of that nature. That's what you'll find. You'll find about 80% of all the teams that make the playoffs have an elite quarterback or the quarterback's on a rookie deal, and they're taking up all the spots. So that's my point. So when I look at the Dallas Cowboys right now, and when I look at the teams like the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, and I look at teams like the Jets, the Jags, the Browns, even the Bengals now, Miami. When I look at those 8 teams, you're paying your quarterback, and none of y'all may make the playoffs. You're paying your quarterback the big bucks, and none of you guys might make the playoffs. That's 8 teams right there. I'm not including the other 6 teams that are just in purgatory, like the Raiders, the Patriots, the Titans. I'm not even including them. I'm not including the Giants, Carolina, or Chicago. That's another 6 teams that they just figured out they ain't got a quarterback. So I'm not, with the exception of the Patriots, but they're new at it. So they don't have a quarterback, or they're overpaying their quarterback. That's 14 teams right there, Glenn. 14. Glenn said, but this is not about who just made a playoffs. This is about a Super Bowl. Exactly, Glenn. The first step in winning a Super Bowl is making the playoffs. If you ain't even got a chance to make it, then what are we talking about? If you're justifying a team paying a quarterback and they don't even make it, then you're so far behind in the conversation. We're talking about at least making it first. What circumstance will get you in the tournament? If you're not even in the tournament, then you don't even belong in the conversation. When you look at it, and if you don't have no tournament success out of the first round, you're not in the conversation. So even if you do make it, if you don't have success out of the first round, then you're not even in the conversation. You're failing. You're doing something wrong. And 9 times out of 10, it's paying your quarterback. It's paying the quarterback. So yeah, the ultimate goal is the Super Bowl. But if you ain't even doing what it takes or putting together something that it takes to get to the playoffs to try to win it, you're so far behind. You're jumping way to the conclusion, and you don't even have a structure to give you a chance to get to the conclusion. That's what's going on. This is what you're always going to have. There are 7 quarterbacks that's going to make the playoffs this year, Glenn, that are being paid below the market value for quarterbacks. And when I say below the market value, we're talking about even less than Daniel Jones. There are 7 quarterbacks that are about to make the playoffs that are paid below the market value. You don't see the correlation there? 7. Half of all playoff teams are benefiting from their quarterback being below the market value. What 7 QBs? Easy. Tampa, Baker's below the market value. Minnesota, Sam Darnold's below the market value. Commanders, Jane Daniels below the market value. And now let's go to the AFC. Well, hold on. I left out Seattle. Geno's below the market value. So 4 in the NFC. Let's go to the AFC. Russell Wilson with Pittsburgh, below the market value. Houston, CJ Stroud, below the market value. Bo Nix, Denver Broncos, below the market value. 7 quarterbacks, Glenn. Half of the quarterbacks in the NFL. Half of the playoff spots, what I mean, in the NFL will be from quarterbacks below the market value. Half of them. Half. And then the other 7, most of the elite quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, what's his name? Lamar Jackson. That's 3 of them right there. Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and I ain't gonna say that's elite. They got a historic defense, right? Not historic, but a great defense, number 1 in the NFL. See, these are the factors you need to help you. No, I'm not putting Hurts as elite, but that team has a factor. I always tell y'all, unless you got a historic defense, they're the number 1 defense in the league. Who else? Jordan Love, but again, loaded with 6 and 7s. You know what I haven't looked at? What is Jordan Love's contract? And here's another thing. Some of these guys just got paid and their cap hit isn't as great. I don't know what Jordan Love's is. Let me look at cap hits. 4-year, 220, massive contract. But let me see what his cap hit is this year. I can almost guarantee you it's probably below 30 million for that team to be loaded the way that they are. Jordan Love, $20.7 million cap hit this year. $20.7 million. See, Jordan Love's deal, the way he is structured, without that 5th-year option and all of that stuff, at least I don't think they did. Let me see something. No, yeah, they had the 5th. Did they have a 5th year on Jordan Love, or did they do something funky with his contract? I just don't remember. Yeah, I think instead of the 5th-year option, they just extension of the period. Yeah, they didn't give him the 5th year. They gave him a 1-year just deal that year. But yeah, Jordan Love is 20.7 of a cap hit this year. Let me see. Did they restructure that? Signing, roster, option. 1 year, 4-year. No, they didn't. He got paid the Tua contract. Not sure, Glenn. Yeah, Tua restructured his deal. See, well, we so screwed in the future. Like, if you look at Jordan Love contract versus Tua's contract in the future, like next year, Jordan Love doesn't even get over 30 million. Tua will be 40. The year after, Jordan Love still around 30 million. Tua will be 56. Yeah, I mean, it's a good comparison deal. It's a good comparison, Glenn. Let me pull this up. All right, let me see. Jordan Love. Yeah. Next year, Jordan Love 29. Tua will be 40. The year after, Jordan Love 36. Tua will be 56, literally 20 million more. The year after, Jordan Love is 42. Tua will be 53. The year after that, Jordan Love 74, which they'll never get to that point. That's 5 years later. Nor will Tua get to his 66. They'll just extend, cut, or whatever at that point. However the quarterback's doing. But do you see how every single year these contracts aren't even close to being the same when you really look at it? It seems that way, but it's actually not. I'm trying to figure out why. Trying to figure out why. 4-220. Tua's contract is actually less than Jordan Love's, but Jordan Love's cap hits every year are less. Bingo. Never mind. I found it because of this year. I'm sorry. I see why. Because of this year. It's not the 5th-year option, Glenn, because the Green Bay Packers actually paid Jordan Love more than his 5th-year option. They actually paid him more. If I'm reading this correctly, let me see. Jordan Love signed a 1-year, maximum $22.5 million extension with the Packers, preceding a $20 million 5th-year option decision. The deal was 13 and a half, fully guaranteed. So they actually paid him in the 5th year $2.5 million more than they would have if they would have just picked up the 5th-year option. They paid him more. So he had incentives in his contract. So it was worth 13 and a half, but a max of 22, a max of 22 and a half. And I believe he got paid the whole thing. Because remember, he went to the playoffs, won a playoff game. I think all of those things kicked in. So they end up paying him more, Glenn. The reason why Jordan Love has lower cap hits every year than Tua is because Tua Tagovailoa is only a $9.5 million cap hit this year. Why? Because they restructured the contract. And now they literally took over 40, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 45. They took over 45 million and restructured it, kicking it into the future just to make room to pay other people. just to pay other people. Yeah, Glenn, but Tua's 5th-year option is null and void. It's wiped out because they did an extension. Because if it was a 5th-year option, he'd be getting 20-something million. He only is a $9.5 million cap hit. Just act like Tua never got a 5th-year option. That's how you got to look at it. Wipe that out. And restructured contract. The Dolphins are screwed. It's going to be hard to keep great talent, a well-rounded team like Green Bay. And not to mention, Jordan Love can restructure his contract if they want it. It's very favorable for the Green Bay Packers. So, again, my point is, like we discussed already, Glenn, you got 7 quarterbacks making below market value money that's going to make the playoffs this year. And then you got the elite quarterbacks. And then you want to know the ones that are in the middle of the road that don't fall in any of those categories. That would be teams like the Chargers. They don't fall in any of those categories. The Texans. Well, no, never mind. They make rookie money. The Chargers are the one team. Anybody else? Let's see. Yeah, the Chargers and Green Bay. Those are the only teams that fall outside of that category, Glenn. Glenn said, no, 7 are not going to make the playoffs. Who's not, Glenn? Tell me which one of those 7 is not going to make the playoffs. This will be very interesting. Tell me which one of those 7 is not going to make the playoffs. Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson, he making it. That's 1. Houston's making the playoffs. That's 2. You're probably going to argue Bo Nix. I'll put that on the list so we can watch out for. Let's see, who else? Geno and Baker, below market value, highly likely to make the playoffs, unless the Rams come take the spot from Geno. Maybe. Jane Daniels, can he lose his spot? Maybe. Glenn said, I believe Houston won't, but that means coach will. So it don't matter. Even if Houston don't make it and the coach do, it's still a quarterback on a rookie deal. So, again, the point still stands, Glenn. Let's just say there's 6 then, Glenn. That's still almost half the whole playoff field. That's half the playoff field, bro. That's all I'm saying to you. And once those rookies go in, now you go in order from best quarterbacks in the NFL. That's how you can look at it. That's the cheat sheet, ladies and gentlemen. Pick your 6 to 7 rookie contracts every year. You're going to get 6 to 7 teams make the playoffs. Okay? 6 to 7 players on a rookie deal will make the playoffs. Or making cheap money like Russell Wilson, rookie deal. Like, you know what I mean when I say rookie deal. Just making like less than $10 million, $15 million, right? But really below market value. Under that Daniel Jones contract, anything under $40 million helps your team these days. And then you just pick your quarterbacks, go in order. All the great quarterbacks. Top 5 quarterbacks. Who are Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff. That's 4 of your top quarterbacks right there. They're getting in. That's the new way it works, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not on a rookie deal, give me the order of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Glenn say QB. I I say coaching. Well, they say Shanahan, one of the greatest coaches in the NFL. Where his team? If you say coaching. If you say coaching, where's Shanahan? Just curious. Is McDaniel a bad coach? He ain't in there. There's a stronger correlation at the QB position than coaching, Glenn. That's all I'm saying. But you'll continue to see this every year, Glenn. I've been preaching this for 3 years now, and it hasn't failed me yet. And I told everybody, Russell Wilson killing that roster with his salary. And as soon as he went to Pittsburgh, I said, man, y'all not looking at the fact that Russ can still cook. The problem is affording everything around him. Him going to Pittsburgh and making those peanuts. They man, and then that whole Fields situation, I'm like, well, I don't know what they're going to be because they might go with Fields. But now you see. Glenn says season not over with. Well, one thing remains, Glenn. The top quarterback's still going to make it. The top quarterback's getting in the playoffs. Tell me what top quarterback you see that ain't in the playoffs. Please enlighten me. Tell me the top quarterback that's not going to be getting in the playoffs this year, Glenn. We shall see. Darnold too, only making $10 million. Yeah, man. Yeah. Wilson's contract is still hurting the Broncos. So how do you account for their current success? Let's take a look at it. And remember, this is why I love if y'all actually follow everything that I'm saying in every element that it takes. You either have a top defense or you draft well is the only way to overcome it. Look at the Chargers, top defense, draft well. It's the only way to overcome high price for a quarterback. Only way to overcome it. So do Denver fall in that category? Do the Chargers fall in that category? Top defense, drafting well? You got to ask yourself that question. Wake up and ball. All right. Sorry, I'm bringing it up. Russell Wilson, 20% of the cap, $53 million. Offset by the quarterback. Now, one of the best drafting teams and got a great defense. And let me say this too, with teams like Broncos, that's what makes them even scarier. This is what makes teams like the Denver Broncos even scarier. And also, when you look at teams like the Denver Broncos, what are some of their best players on the team? Patrick Surtain, 24, drafting well. Zach Allen, drafting well. These are examples. Bo Nix, drafting well. Quinn Menarez, their guard, drafting well. Getting Brandon Jones from Miami. Great GM decisions. Jonathan Cooper. Great decision. These are the players. Javonte Williams. The youth. If you go up and down their roster, you'll see it. Marvin Mims. All these guys contributing. Go up and down their roster. Jonah Ellis. In fact, let me look at this too. And let me move forward real quick to see what their outlook is in the future. Next year, they'll have $67 million in cap space, and then they'll be done with Russell Wilson's contract after that as they continue to build. And then in 2026, they got $225 million in cap space. Their general manager is just doing it right. And they're well coached as well. And that's something teams like Miami hasn't been able to do, make great decisions in this arena. But people don't realize the reason why Miami doesn't make these great decisions is because every decision you're making is to support one person instead of the team. That's the big issue. Glenn said you need to get about 3 to 4 starters out of the draft. Well, you know what, Glenn? I like that. But here's how I look at it. I believe drafting well is hitting on 2 to 3 starters and about 2 really good backups with the overall 4-player success every offseason from the draft and free and not so much like undrafted and undrafted. You need 4 players that's going to contribute, 2 starters and 2 reserves. And when I say a reserve, a guy that's really he's good. He just ain't starting because you're that good of a roster. You just need that's about it. And here's the kicker to it. Those 2 starters, you can't always rely on them being the first and second round pick. You can't rely on them always being the first and second round pick. And if you do hit on your first and second round, you got to give me one more out of the whole class. One more out of the whole class. Just one more. And I know a lot of us are Miami Dolphin fans in here, so I want to show you something like Miami Dolphins drafts. Draft picks. All right. I just want to go back to the last 5 years, right? 5. Okay, here we go. The last 5 years, right? So, and when I say you got to hit, you need to try to be able to have at least 2 Pro Bowlers or top 10 at the position. That's what it comes down to. All right. But here's also the kicker: maintaining that talent, keeping that talent, being smart, right? So let's go back to 2020, right? Tua Tagovailoa, starter quarterback in the NFL. Austin Jackson, starting right tackle in the NFL. You'll accept that. Noah Igbenogany, playing great for Washington, but didn't work out for us. You didn't hit for us. Robert Hunt, hit, but you didn't maintain. Raekwon Davis, Brandon Jones, you didn't maintain him. You didn't hit here, but he was a good, solid player. He's one of those guys I'm talking about, like that second, like a nice backup, right? Even though he's a starter now. Solomon Kinley, Strawbridge, Curtis Weaver, Blake Ferguson, Malcolm Perry. We actually did what we needed to do in the 2020 draft, even with Tua, in my opinion. Now, let's move forward. Christian Wilkins, hit, but you didn't keep him. Now, remember, these guys ain't even on our team no more. Noah, Robert Hunt, Brandon Jones, not even on our team anymore. So when we say we kind of hit in that first draft with Tua, you could mark it as a success draft because that's like players, but you only got 2 of them on the roster right now. And Austin Jackson to me is borderline. Not that he's not a hit, but he's like, I would put him in that category as a really good backup, but he's our starter. So you didn't maintain the talent. You kind of screwed the class. Why? Because the thing that mattered was Tua. Now, let's move on to next year. Oh, I went the wrong way. Jalen Waddle, first round pick given. Jalen Phillips, we don't know. I'm gonna tell you now, it ain't he put up godly stats even when he's healthy. And this is the truth that a lot of people don't like talking about. It ain't like he puts up like godly numbers even when he's healthy. He's a good player, but 2 back-to-back injuries, this may not work out, ladies and gentlemen. That's the possible reality. Javon Holland, I'm telling y'all, he's never been as good as they made him out to be. Never has. And he probably not going next year. Liam Eichenberg, no comment. Hunter Long, gone. Larnell Coleman, Jared Dokes, gone. Right now, Jalen Waddle and Holland, but Holland ain't going to be here. Phillips, we don't know what that's going to end up being. Only thing you got out of that draft was Jalen Waddle now that you can feel great about. That's the reality. The only thing you got out of that draft was Jalen Waddle. That's a failed draft. Holland's probably gone. Eichenberg ain't it. Hunter Long, Larnell Coleman, Jared Dokes gone. Phillips, back-to-back season-ending injuries. Solid pass rusher, but he ain't a game changer. Like, that's another thing we need to start paying attention to. We get these solid guys that are not game changers. That's what Jalen Phillips is, solid, but not a game changer. That's a failed draft so far. Maybe it turns out better, but right now, slim to no chance of doing so. Go to the next draft. Channing Tindall, Dukama, solid backup. Cameron Good, to me, a solid backup. Skylar Thompson, failed draft. Failed draft. Especially since you gave up most of your draft picks to pay for pay for trades. Some of them draft picks was the Tyreek trade. Some of them draft picks was the Chubb, Ramsey. Failed draft. Let's go to the next one. Cam Smith. A-Chain. We really don't know. We be jumping the gun on players like A-Chain all the time. In a perfect system, perfect situation, running wild and free, and now it ain't looking that pretty as of late. Let's just be honest about that. It is not looking pretty as of late. But the jury's still out. We don't really even know if he's the back of the future. We know he a good back. You know what I mean? Like we don't never have like a official guy. Just a whole bunch of guys we like and they phase in and out. Who the hot hand? Elijah Higgins, Ryan Hayes, man, failed draft. That's 2 years in a row of complete failed draft around Tua. Last year, Chop Robinson, jury out once again. Oh, he leads the league in pressures and all that. Once again, we're not getting game-changing play. If we lucky, he'll end the season with 5 sacks. That's what he on pace for. He got 3.5 right now. As a rookie, he'll have 5. You know? And everybody trying to make it more than what it is. I don't know. what's his name in Minnesota? I want to look up. Is Vikings rookie. What's his name? Give me a second. What's his name? No, it wasn't AVG. It was a kid that got I think he was hurt at one point. Let me see. Let me see. He been hurt. Never mind. Let me make sure here. That is why Miami is falling. Falling. Maybe 5 players still on team. Yeah, man. Oh, now my system want to act slow. Anyway, I'll bring it up in a second. But Chop Robinson, Patrick, he had a good game the other day, but he barely playing. We don't know what we have there. We got to wait and see. But I'm gonna count that as a plus. Jalen Wright, another one of those running backs, but solid player for the team. Kamara, barely. Malik, playing. Taj Washington got hurt. Patrick Morris. We don't know about this draft, but it looked like on the back end a whole bunch of guys to be reserves for the future that never going to really break out to be stars. In the front end of the draft, we got to see Chop and Patrick. We don't know what this draft going to be. But I'm going to tell you now, based off of a lot of their rookie peers, they're not stacking up like that. Patrick Paul, solid game so far. But we'll see, man. We'll see. But that's the problem. We don't draft well at all. We don't draft well at all. And the general manager makes terrible decisions. And then on top of it, you paying your quarterback what you're paying. It's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. You want to know why? Because all these draft picks that I just told you, you're committed to them, so they're going to be on the roster. Cam Smith, I mean, what you going to do? Move on from that money? He's on the roster. Channing Tindall, you going to move on now? What about Ezukama? Are we going to move on? Like, these are guys that you kind of committed to. Jalen Phillips, 5th-year option. You're locked in on some of these guys, and it ain't making it any better because moving on means it's even more of a reset. Oh, they not working out. We got to move on quicker now on. No, you can't. These guys are going to be on the roster taking up a spot. Even if it's on the back end, they're going to be taking up spots. Jalen Wright. A lot of these guys are going to take up spots. Kamara, Washington. Cam Smith. Spots. So, yeah, that's why Miami in this situation. Drafting, and like I said before, get mad, but paying your quarterback all this money. Paying your quarterback all this money. And we over-sensationalize our quarterback too much, especially as fans. We over-sensationalize everything our quarterback does, and this is why we're probably going to be stuck in purgatory for quite some time, because this is what we do. This is why we can't get better, and then we want to blame everything around the guy. This is our reality, ladies and gentlemen, Miami Dolphin fans all around the world. This is our reality. And for the Dolphin fans in the chat, I'll give you a perfect example, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate our quarterback's performance on Sunday versus the Jets? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm just curious. And or for anybody who saw the game, how would you rate his performance on a scale of 1 to 10? Big time curious. You can argue the best player out of the draft was Tua, and the reason you had to pay him. then we really screwed. That just means it's an utter failure. Utter failure. Complete and utter failure. Let's get a few votes in on that. I'm just curious what people believe, feel on that, on how scale of 1 to 10. -1 is hating. That's actually hating. 6, interesting. Anybody else? Put it in the chat. Salute to everybody watching right now on YouTube and Twitter. Thank y'all for tuning in to Wake Up and Ball. We're not going to be too much longer. We're going to get out of here soon. I'm just trying to see something. Andre said 5. It's interesting. At least y'all level headed 5, 6. Yeah, I was at about a 6.5 for Tua. But this is what, as a Dolphin fan base, this is what we do as a whole. People are over sensationalizing his performance, putting him at 9s and 10s and all that crazy stuff. It's amazing to me, man. And Glenn, I went back and looked at that film again, which we can do a breakdown maybe at some point today, maybe. But no, Glenn. Like I said before, man, we need to watch it together. Tua has some bad moments, but he did drive the team for a win. Glenn, let's think about this too. We got to stop saying Tua drove the team for a win. We got to stop saying Tua drove the team for a win. Like, if you literally throw a bubble screen that go 25 and another one that go 20, that's not driving the team for a win. Now, what he did after that, the pass over the middle and then the Jonnu, that's what he gets. But that ain't driving the team for the win. That's being in the red zone, in overtime, already in scoring range, and executing and getting the game winner. But he didn't drive the team to a win. All right. But yeah, I'm telling y'all now, we probably gonna do a film study on it. That is their play. MIA is a screen team. Yeah, Glenn. So let's say McDaniel drove him down there then, if you want to be technical. I mean, if we hand the ball off the A chain and he run for 70 yards and Tua threw a 5-yard touchdown, are we gonna say he drove him down? No, we're not. So, but since he threw a -1 yard pass twice with no resistance, because screen passes always typically get caught with the defense not even close. That's what we're saying is considered driving him down. That's not how that works. But like I said, man, I seen about 9 passes in that game were just horrible for Tua. And we'll try to do some of that film study today, Glenn. And then I think we forget we were playing the Jets. We were playing the Jets. Oh, it does, Glenn. So you're telling me if I hand the ball off the A chain for 60 yards and it's first and goal from the 5, and we throw a 5-yard pass to Jonnu, our quarterback drove us down the field? That's what that means? Or are you talking about something else? Is that what that means? Yeah, but Tua has to make the pass. The same pass anybody can make? All right, Glenn. All right. And I guess my question to you is, that impressed you? That was an impressive drive for you? Just curious. I'd say if you make a few normal passes, then 1 or 2 screens, and then a TD pass would be considered driving you down. This is why the good teams destroy us. This is why the good teams destroy us right here. And then when the good teams destroy us, we'll come back to this game and say, why couldn't they execute like that? Because it's not our execution, it's the other team's lack of execution. We are a soft team, ladies and gentlemen. We get what the other team allows us to get. That's what soft teams are. You only get what other teams allow you to get. This is why we always scratching our head. Why couldn't we play like this versus this team or that team? Because that team didn't allow you to get it. The Jets did. Now, if you were a rough team, a tough team, then you go take what you want, but that ain't us. Our success is dictated off of what other teams do against us. That's what you call a soft team. We don't ever go take anything. Ever. We got trips to the right, and the Jets got 2 defenders and a deep safety over there. The screen's supposed to work. Just stupid. And then this is why we always scratching our head. Oh, like if it was a good team and they played it closer and Jonnu got 3 yards instead of 25, why are we calling these bubble screens? Look at you there. You already misplacing the blame. We're just so all over the place. We don't even know how to justify football. This is what our fan base does. We don't even know how to justify our belief in football. Y'all tell me I'm lying. If we were playing the Chiefs and they were press on that with the safety downhill, we threw that same screen and we got 3 yards instead of 25. Why is McDaniel calling bubble screens? Tell me I'm wrong. And then when it works, y'all think we just did something miraculous. No, we just playing a dumb team that's just as soft as us. The one issue I got with the Dolphins is we don't ever dictate what we do. We don't ever get to dictate what we want to do. We're opportunistic. This is why, you know those games where Tua doesn't have a good game, Tyreek and Waddle ain't catching nothing, and everybody getting shut down? But every 10 plays, finally a 17-yarder over the middle. Let's go. You get shut down, and then 10 plays later, okay, a nice little 18-yarder over the middle. Let's go. Go look at it. They playing coverage, they're shutting you down. Then they just on occasion, they dial up a little zone play here and there, and we catch them. See, why can't we do more of that? Because they defense changed, not because we dictated it. We've been running them routes all game. You only pay attention when it works. We've been running these same deep post in breaking route all game. They've been shutting it down, but then they give you that occasional different call because they guessing what we gonna switch up to. But the Dolphins ain't switching. They got us. Now let's go back. Now we ain't making no plays again. We don't dictate nothing. When we have success, it's typically playing these bad teams. And when they mess up, we take advantage. When they're on it, we can't break through. We got to become the team that even when they're on it, we're putting pedal to metal on them anyway. That's the problem. But as long as we keep thinking that we're that good on occasions, like the Jets game, oh, we did it. It was the Jets. Now let's go do it versus Houston, who got one of the worst secondaries in the NFL with their play. Run defense is good, though. So let's see. Now, how 49ers played last night, that's going to be interesting. I watched the all 22 and I seen some plays that were bad and were too a miss, but you threw the ball 47 times. We'll go through it, Glenn. We'll go through it. All right, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let me get on to some other business right now. We're going to try to come back later and get into some of that film. We'll get it going. Thank y'all for tuning in to Wake Up and Ball. And listen, don't forget the stream was powered by BetUS. Take advantage of that 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. All right, supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. Love y'all so much.
Yeah. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. Let's go. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie. Yeah, we gon' debate it all. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie. Yeah, we gon' debate it all. They say you gotta crawl before you stand tall. And if you want it all, then you can't be scared to fall. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie. Yeah, we gon' debate it all. Yeah. On every level, we ask who's better, who's more clever, which one would you rather, which one did it better? Wake up and ball, get your coffee from the kettle, cream and sugar, make it better. We gon' fly, spread our wings, we gon' reach a new level, and until we drop a feather, we gon' ball in any weather. We were taught to never settle, like Magneto, we want medals or the championship ring. Yeah, we do it for the team. Yeah, wake up and ball, wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. Wake up and ball, wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. They say you gotta crawl before you stand tall. And if you want it all, then you can't be scared to fall. Wake up and ball, wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. Yeah. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in to Wake Up and Ball. Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. TD versus Richie, yeah, we gon' debate it all. We gon' fly, spread our wings, we gon' reach a new level, and until we drop a feather, we gon' ball in any weather. We were taught to never settle, like Magneto, we want medals or the championship ring. Yeah, we do it for the team. Yeah. We gon' fly and spread our wings. We want a championship ring. We gon' do it for the team. At Roundtable Sport, we were taught to never settle. Just like Magneto, we want medals. We gon' reach a new level. Yeah. Need some go-getters. The competition quitters. Yeah. Wake up and ball. Roundtable Sports. Thank you.